What's up guys, today we're going to be talking about layering. Whether you're getting into skiing or snowboarding this season, you want to stay warm, you don't want to be wet, and you want to be dry. Like I just said, if you have all those things covered, you're going to be having way more fun out there on the hill. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about this and how to stay nice and cozy this season. As you can see here, I started off in my base layers. I would have started off in my underwear, but we'll save that one for the OnlyFans. We're gonna start off talking a little bit about socks and base layers. A nice pair of merino wool socks, something from potentially a company like Darn Tough or Smart Wool, is a great place to get started. And today I'm talking about my Smart Wool base layers. I am rocking both of these in a size large, just so you can see how they feel. You don't want it to be too tight or too loose, just nice and fitting on you. And then I also like to rock the 3/4 length base layer pants here. Fits a little bit better with your socks and your boots, so that way you're not kind of scrunching everything up into that boot. It just is a little bit more ergonomic, anatomical, however you want to say it. Just feels a little bit more comfortable when you're throwing either your ski or snowboard boots on. From there, we'll talk about kind of the next step up and how we build these layering systems. I don't like to rely on just one piece of gear. You know, people are always like, what's the best jacket? What's the best pants? But that's not how I like to look at it. Any sort of cold weather activity or even mild weather, when you're getting out into any of these action sports, it's nice to layer so you're ready for any situation. So I always start off with that nice merino wool base layer. It's moisture wicking, antimicrobial, helps reduce some sweat through that wicking mechanism as well. Then I'll grab something, you know, a mid kind of layer, an insulative layer, something that's kind of fleece or some sort of synthetic material. Right here I've got the Cormac heavyweight hoodie from Arc'teryx. You could also grab something like this Lift-A-Loft hybrid insulator from Heli, or the Smart Wool middle insulation layer. Just kind of something that's, you know, lightweight and breathable, but offers that nice level of insulation for that middle. And that's just because I like to wear a shell as my outer layer, that nice waterproof, windproof layer on the outside. So I like to have a little bit more insulation for my chest on the inside. So again, for this mid layer today, we're talking about the Cormac heavyweight from Arc'teryx, but again, lots of other options. Just something lightweight, breathable, but nice and insulative to add that a little bit of extra warmth in that mid layer. I like to get something that has these finger loops here again, just so when I'm wearing this, I can keep my hands a little bit warm, but also have that dexterity, also really nice to have, which is also why I go for the fingered gloves, but we'll dive into that in a second. I like to go for something with a hood, just because again, if it's not too cold of a day, if the conditions are dry and I end up taking my shell off, I can still just ride in something like this. So having that hood is just another option to keep the back of your neck a little bit warmer. You know, nothing crazy, just a nice little simple insulating layer. Then from there, typically we'll go with a full balaclava. Sometimes I'll wear just a nice neck gaiter, a buff, or like a Smart Wool gaiter if it's pretty nice outside and I don't need to have this layer on, if I just have my base layers and my shells. So it's always nice to have some sort of neck gaiter just to keep your neck protected. Also have something to wipe the snot away, anything like that. It's always just good to have to keep your face warm, keep the icicles off the mustache, all that good stuff, all that moisture from building up. From there, we'll hop into my pants. I like to get a nice, pretty thick, decent pant that's waterproof, windproof, you know, doesn't have any insulation per se, but it's a thick enough pant with my base layers and my socks I already have going on. I'm a pretty warm guy in general, so I don't need a huge insulating layer on my legs, just on my chest, because you know that's where a lot of that cold really drives out right there. So I like to keep my core just really nice and warm and not worry too much about my lower extremities. So right now we're gonna try on the vintage pant from Air Blaster. You know, I like these ones because they've got a pretty cool patch on the back. You know, they're a large, so they're pretty nice and form-fitting, but also they are snowboard pants, so they do fit a little bit baggier. I do have a pair of these pants in another color as well. I wore them a lot last season and thought they were great. But again, just like a nice waterproof material. On the inside, it's a 15K, 10K, pretty breathable pant. But already just putting this on here in the shop, I feel nice and warm and cozy. So yeah, just those base layer bottoms in a nice waterproof pant is definitely the way to go. You don't want anything too loose, too crazy. You know, you want to be athletic and form-fitting when you're out there on the hill. But again, if you are a youngin and you like to wear the baggier stuff, definitely find something that fits good around the hips, something with a belt probably that you can tighten up. But again, it's okay to have a little bit of bag in there. But I like these pants again because they have a couple different zip features. They've got the crotch zip here, so you can let out a little bit of hot air. They've got the zippers around the ankles, so it makes it a little bit easier to get your boots on and off. So just find a pant that's versatile, something that's, you know, comfortable but form-fitting, something that's not gonna drag you down when you're on the hill. Typically gonna be putting on some sort of a shell as my outer layer. I don't need a big puffy insulating waterproof jacket. I'm already way too warm in here inside with both of these on. So when you're outside on the hill, this is definitely more than enough. This is your insulation, the base layer and the mid layer, and then this is what keeps the wind off, the water off, keeps that moisture out, keeps you dry. So if you're warm and dry, it's a recipe for success. That's all we're looking for. So for my shell, I am gonna be rocking the Arc'teryx Rush jacket here. We talked about this in a recent video. You know, I think it is the best shell that we sell here at Ridge and River. It's nice and lightweight, it's durable, super waterproof, windproof. I've got that Gore-Tex Pro membrane. And again, just throwing that guy on, I am hot right now. But I like this, it's pretty feature rich and lightweight. It's got the nice wrist cuffs, it's got armpit zips, it's got the pass zip right here if you wanna just sneak through and not have to always be fumbling around for your pass in your pocket when you're at the resort. It's got this chest zip here for maybe some snacks, maybe your phone or a GPS device if you're getting out into the backcountry. Something that I like about this jacket is it has that Rico reflector in the storm hood, so again, really good for all kinds of different inclement weather and different situations in the backcountry where you might be getting into something a little bit more dangerous. But again, overall, any shell that's got more than 10K waterproofing, you know, that's kind of like base standards these days, but that's gonna be waterproof enough. So if it says 10K, 10K, 15K, 15K, 20K, 20K, basically the higher those two numbers are, the longer it's gonna last you in those wettings and the more wettings that it can take. So it can get wet, whether that be through heavy dumping and downfall of snow or a little bit of rainy activities. It can take more wettings the higher that number is. After that, you know, like we talked about, we'll just do the whole thing. Throw on my balaclava here and show you my bald head. So I'll just grab this guy on here. Make sure it's nice and tucked in, you know. I usually will throw it under my mid layer, so that way it can create a nice just one layer of insulation and not let any cold air through the neck and get you zipped up. Don't want to choke your neck on that jacket, but just something nice and comfortable that's gonna provide you with some insulation. And then from there, any goggles you like. I've got the Flight Pros from Oakley that I'm rocking right now. And just this Oakley helmet that I've been wearing a lot lately. Helmets are cool, man. I know they might look a little bit nerdy, but it's nice to keep yourself safe out there. And then I don't have my gloves with me today, but I just grabbed a pair of fly-low gloves off the shelf to show off. I do like full fingered gloves. Woohoo, I'm hot. I do like full fingered gloves just because when you are ratcheting down your binding, specifically with snowboarding, it is nice to have a little bit more of that finger dexterity. A mitt will probably keep you warmer because all of your fingers are in that one pocket. But if you want something with a little bit more dexterity, able to, you know, still grab your phone, grab stuff out of your pocket, not always have to be taking that mitt on and off, a full fingered glove is, that's why I go with a full fingered glove. So again, you know, pretty simple. Merino wool socks, something that's maybe, you know, targeted cushion or full cushion if you like a little bit more support, or zero cushion if you just want to have that base level sock get in and out of your boot really easily. Smart wool, merino wool, base layer, bottoms and tops. I go with the 3/4 pants for the ease into and out of the boot. A nice waterproof pair of pants, an insulating mid layer, A shell outer layer, something that's gonna keep you dry and not wet, super important. Balaclava here, helmet, goggles, and gloves. And then a board, and we're ready for the hill. Later, nerds.